Thank you. So, I will be talking about archiving the social media profiles of members of government in Luxembourg. So, in the year 2023, we had an upcoming national election, and the National Archives in Luxembourg and the National Library as well, we were asking ourselves the same question. How can we archive the social media profiles of the members of government, where it is very likely that at least some of them will be leaving their offices soon? So we thought it might be sort of a last chance of capturing content from there. And we got together with the State Ministry and the Luxembourg government press service to come up with a solution to this. So as many of you know, a very common problem is that harvesting content from social media via automated web crawler is very tricky. There's more and more obstacles to this. The platforms are getting more and more closed to our robots, and very often we are blocked from getting any content. And so in the case of the Luxembourg government, we thought, what if we went on the way of having the government export their own data and hand it over to the National Archives and the National Library, sort of a very straightforward approach to getting their data. So the targeted producers were the 2018 government with Xavier Bettel as the Prime Minister. We were targeting their official social media accounts of the incumbent ministers, so from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And we launched a call for participation addressed to the archiving managers and communication staff in the ministerial cabinet, since we thought these are the people who are in charge of the social media accounts, and the aim was to share the data afterwards between our two institutions. So, what is the motivation behind trying to archive this data? Of course, we want to strengthen the democratic transparency. It's about preserving the political heritage. There's a sort of continuity if we keep on doing this. We gain a better understanding of the political work and the responsibilities of the politicians. There are more diverse sources of information, and all of this opens possibilities for researchers in the future. And of course, all politicians fully agree with all these arguments, and it really motivates them to hand over their data, but there are more effective arguments to push them to really participate, and the magic words are legal deposit and archive law. So telling them that, okay, they really have to do it because it is covered by our legal mandate. But we thought of one more way to motivate them, and we sort of wanted to have one trial run with one minister ahead of the campaign to show that it is really not that complicated to export their data, and that everyone should follow this example. And this example was, of course, Xavier Bettel, who by coincidence is also the most active minister on social media. And by showing that, it wasn't so difficult for him, everyone should follow and do the same. So the steps, we launched a call for participation. There was a detailed guideline for the different platforms, what they should do step by step. Then we followed up with each ministry, even offered to come on site to the ministry and do the export together with them. We would then receive the data either by a file transfer service, or again by going to the ministry with a hard drive and taking the data back with us. And then we also occasionally shared statistics and the responses of saying thank you to the people who already participated, and showing the others, look who is already on board. You should do the same. So as a result, in this first pilot project, we were able to collect 32 out of the 42 targeted accounts, 76% success rate here, and 11 out of the 17 ministers participated, 65% success rate. And there is a typo here, it's actually just 22 gigabytes of data. So it's quite a small data set, but you could say it's of good quality because we have a very complete data set with all the posts in them. And we were quite quite happy about the response rate from the ministers because the timing was really tricky. The call for participation was in October, the election was in November, and the new government was already supposed to be in place mid-December. So many ministers were actually packing up their offices. Some had already left the ministries and still handed over the data. So for a first campaign, we were quite happy with these results. Yeah, so the lessons we learned from this, we wanted to have a new campaign by the end of 2024. And we realized that the launch of the campaign has to be well planned. So all of the connections and knowledge from our institutions into the different ministries. Maybe someone knows someone in the ministry who has a good connection to the minister. They should know about this as well. And if we know it's actually not the communications department, but someone from another department who handles the social media, all of this information has to be considered when launching the campaign. And we realized that the communication really has to be very efficient, has to be very clear what we ask of them, the detailed guide has to be included, and the message has to come with the right amount of authority as well. So stressing the point that there's multiple archiving institutions behind this, the state ministries supporting it. There is the legal deposit that they have to follow, and as I mentioned, also the Prime Minister who has already done it. So everybody else should do their homework. And and we also realized that in many cases, no one from the staff in the ministry actually had any access to the social media. It is the ministers themselves who handle all of their social media. They are the only ones who have the login. So the message should go to them directly, which then again is also quite tricky because we cannot simply send an email to all the ministers. That also had to come from someone high up in the state ministry. So that has to be planned as well. And in general, we want to have a shorter project term so that we can do it every year, and when people see that it's not so complicated, it won't be a big deal to do it again the year after that. And for that second campaign, we wanted to expand the collection to ministries and public administrations as well. So the target was a bit larger, 20 ministries, 15 ministers, 110 accounts in total. How did the extraction happen exactly? So, as I mentioned, there was a step-by-step guide that the National Archives also updated for the second year to account for certain changes on the different platforms. And the option of the time frame of the export was left to the producers, so they could either just set it to the time frame from their assumption of office, or just the entire existence of the account that was left to them. And that we would only be interested in published content, so no private messages, for instance, which of course was a big concern right away. And then the steps that they would follow depended a lot on the administrative procedures from the National Archives, so that they would fill out a deposit request first and then get an approval, and then in the end there is a receipt, but all of this could be done in just a few hours basically. And then from the timeline we added also a kickoff event offering in-person training at the offices of the National Archives. The data was collected in December, and when everything was verified, we were able to wrap up the campaign in January. Then, in terms of the results. They were a bit less satisfying this time around, so only about, less than half of the accounts were collected, and also less than half of the ministers participated. On the other hand, for the ministries, that worked quite well, so 80% of the ministries participated, and yeah, the size of the collection was very similar. We feel that this lack of response from the ministers was a bit due to a last-minute hesitation of the Prime Minister, who had already extracted the data, but before handing over the deposit, he said that yeah, he wanted to reevaluate the legal basis of the legal deposit. And we feel that this hesitation kind of translated to the other ministers, who said, okay, if we can just wait, then we prefer to wait. So at that point, we were not able to push this much harder, and we just had to wait if others would follow, or maybe for the next campaign, we will get them by then. So yeah, and then yeah, getting to how do we give access to this data. This is a very open question that we haven't really discussed in detail, not even internally. What is for certain, the data is going to our long-term preservation system, Preservica, at National Library. And yeah, one idea that came up was that there are like tools for rehydrating those accounts so that they are viewable and browsable, and that maybe we could crawl those rehydrated accounts, so we have work files that could go into the web archive. But this is a very open question that I don't have answers to right now. And then in May, we're also planning to have a closing party where all the producers and everyone who participated are invited. It will look exactly like this on the photo. Yeah, yeah. And we will also sign an official collaboration agreement between the National Archive and National Library to ensure that we will continue for future campaigns, and we hope that maybe the closing parties will also become sort of a tradition and be an additional motivation for everyone to participate. Yeah, and that is all from me. Thank you.